This isn't the Cam that I thought that I was co-signing. I would never expect you to be this person.
How you doing, man?
What's going down? What am I missing? What's happening?
What I'm seeing you're doing on your platform is just tearing down other black men.
Dame Dash thought he could slide on camera and throw slick talk at Mase in his new interview, but Harlem wasn't having it. Cam and Mase flipped it fast, clowning him hard, cracking jokes on his moves, and brushing off that shade like dust. The way they laughed him straight out had social media saying, Dame came off looking more desperate than dominant. Harlem energy just hit different, and Cam and Mase showed once again they can flip beef into comedy gold and keep the whole crowd entertained. Dame tried coming at Camron this week about teaming up with 50 Cent for the paid in full series, but Cam and Mase bounced back slick. They roasted him on public display, saying Dame talk a big game but ends up petty behind the scenes. Every post, every video, they responded cold with laughs and shade. Internet lit up. Dame's more salty than successful. Pure Harlem energy showed Dame he can't sit at this table. Camron called Dame out publicly, saying he's emotional, acting like things with the dollars and rights to paid in full got him twisted. Mase backed him up, throwing jabs at Dame's hunger for clout. Fans were hooked, seeing Dame scrambling to control narrative, Cam and Mase just letting the order speak for itself. It wasn't just diss, it was a vibe check, and Dame flunked. Dame's been talking loud about legacy and respect, but Cam and Mase, they different. They questioned if Dame really built that empire he brags about, or if all he got is hype. They poked holes in conversations, said Dame shifts stories when cameras off. Social media ate every line. They said Dame looked more insecure than iconic. The duo turned Dame's own words into comedy material. When Dame tried to clap back, boasting ownership rights, making legal threat vibes, Cam and Mase just laughed it off. They treated it like a kindergarten fight, pointing out Dame always digging up old headlines. They reminded folks, you can't bully with your back foot. And folks agreed. Cam and Mase aren't here for Dame's theatrics. They want truth, not drama. Dame Dash dropped some clips trying to make it seem like he saw betrayal, that people forgot what he did. Cam and Mase hit back saying, if you really cared, you'd be consistent. Made Dame look like he changing sides based on followers, not principles. Fans said, that's why you ain't getting the love. It got personal fast, and Cam and Mase held the mic tight. Cam and Mase weren't quiet. When Dame started comparing current moves to the glory days, they dragged him. They said being relevant ain't about past trophies, it's about what you're doing now. Dame's nostalgia, weak. Cam and Mase showing up with relevance, content, engagement. They flipping Dame's throwbacks into receipts, and the receipts ain't pretty. People were watching when Dame pushed the narrative about being disrespected, but Cam and Mesa flipped that. They asked, what respect you earned lately? They called out Dame's silence on others doing bigger things. Said you get respect when you show up, not complain. Internet praised Cam and Mase for being real, not playing the victim card. Dame tried to control the story, dropped quotes, leaked stuff, but Cam and Mase dropped evidence. Screenshots, clips, receipts. They exposed contradictions in Dame's interviews. They made Dame look less like a mogul, more like someone scratching for relevance in headlines. The way they peeled back every layer, fans eating it up. At the end, Cam and Mase proved something bigger than clout. Respect is earned, not declared. Dame Dash might have thought he could get under their skin with calls-outs and interviews, but they turned his spotlight into his spotlight's flaws. Harlem stays undefeated. Cam and Mase showed that sometimes comedy plus truth is mightier than legacy plus ego. Dame Dash thought his words would shake the room, but Cam and Mase flipped it into a circus act. They said his obsession with paid in full is starting to look like a midlife meltdown, not a boss move. They clowned him for always bringing up the past, talking like he's still calling shots when the streets moved on years ago. Mase told fans straight up, legends don't beg for relevance, and Cam doubled down, mocking Dame for recycling the same stories about Rockefeller like broken records. The internet lit up with memes of Dame stuck in 2002 while Harlem's finest laugh in 2025. Cam and Mase didn't stop there. They exposed the contradiction in Dame's so-called principles. They pointed out how he screams loyalty, but he's the first to throw his old partners under the bus when it benefits him. They mocked how Dame acts like he invented hustle culture, yet spends more time talking about who betrayed him than building anything new. Social media jumped in, calling Dame the ex who can't move on. And Cam and Mase happily fueled the fire with jokes about Dame needing a podcast just to vent. Fans couldn't stop laughing, saying Harlem energy is pure truth wrapped in comedy. The deeper the back and forth went, the more Dame looked pressed. Cam and Mase reminded everyone that while Dame was chasing headlines, they were putting out content, touring, and stacking checks. Cam hit a nerve saying, the difference between us and Dame, we laugh our way to the bank, He cries his way to interviews. That line set the internet ablaze. Clips of Dame's past rants resurfaced, and people couldn't help comparing his fiery speeches to his quiet bank accounts. Harlem's duo turned the spotlight into a roast session, making Dame look like a man trying too hard to hold onto a crown that already slipped. By now, even fans who once rocked with Dame started switching sides. They saw Cam and Mase handling the drama with confidence, never breaking a sweat, while Dame looked like he was auditioning for a soap opera. The duo joked that every time Dame speaks, it feels like deja vu because it's always the same "they did me wrong" speech. They even joked that if Dame wrote a book, the chapters would all have the same title: "They Owe Me." The internet couldn't resist. It turned into a roast session bigger than anything Dame could control. Harlem had the timeline crying tears of laughter while Dame's credibility took another hit. At this point, it wasn't just beef, it was humiliation. Cam and Mase made Dame Dash the punchline of a Harlem sitcom, and the world tuned in. Every live stream, every interview, they slipped in jokes about Dame until it became routine. They weren't just clowning, they were rewriting his narrative in real time. Dame thought he could frame Cam as shady, but Harlem's duo framed him as bitter, outdated, and stuck in rewind. Fans started asking if Dame should just retire from interviews completely, because every time he talks, Cam and Mase flip it into free content. Harlem energy different, it's undefeated, and Dame just learned that lesson the hard way. Dame tried to lean on his mogul status, bragging about how he built empires and put people on. But Cam and Mase weren't impressed. They said history don't save you when you're present looking shaky. They reminded everyone that the streets measure respect by what you doing now, not what you did decades ago. Cam laughed, saying, "You can't cash old respect at the bank," while Mase compared Dame's rants to reruns nobody's watching anymore. Fans piled on, dropping clown emojis across every post Dame made. It was a Harlem reminder. Yesterday's glory can't protect you from today's reality. By now, Dame was in defense mode, trying to spin his narrative as if he was the victim of betrayal. But Cam and Mase flipped that victim card upside down. They said real bosses don't beg for sympathy. They adapt and keep pushing. They painted Dame as a man who keeps yelling, "I'm owed respect," instead of earning it. Clips went viral of Cam mocking Dame's tone, copying his exact voice, while Mase broke into laughter mid-skit. That imitation alone had the internet crying. Harlem showed the power of comedy. It can dismantle pride faster than any diss track. When Dame tried to drag 50 Cent into the mess, claiming the paid-in-full project was shady, Cam and Mase turned it into fuel. They joked about how Dame always name-drops others to stay relevant. Cam straight up said, "You love attaching yourself to giants, hoping people still see you as one." Mase added that Harlem don't ride coattails. They build their own lane. Fans ate that up, saying Dame just got checked in the most disrespectful but hilarious way possible. Instead of shaking Cam and Mase, Dame's attempts only gave them more material to roast. Things got even uglier when old stories about Dame resurfaced. Business deals gone bad, falling outs, lawsuits. Cam and Mase didn't even have to dig. The internet brought the receipts. But the duo capitalized on it, cracking jokes about how Dame's loyalty speech don't match his record. They mocked how every story Dame tells ends with him as the betrayed genius. Mase laughed, saying, "If Dame was the victim in every story, then maybe he was the problem all along." That bar went viral instantly. Harlem had the internet screaming, while Dame's image took another heavy blow. And that's the wild part. Dame thought he was exposing Cam, but Harlem flipped it into a masterclass in comedy and control. Instead of being cornered, Cam and Mase turned Dame's rants into their own stage show, making him the punchline while the world watched. Harlem proved that laughter cuts deeper than anger, and sometimes the worst thing that can happen to your legacy is being turned into a joke. So what do you think? Did Dame Dash just lose the last of his respect in this beef, or does he got one more move left in him? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in with every scandal, every roast, and every Harlem moment that shakes the game.